Okay guys, welcome back. So this is the way how to download the Postgres computer. I give you the steps. You have to go to the website and try to find the most recent one. It depends on your operating system. And just follow these steps, okay? And this is what the file that we download, for example, for the Windows and whatever the Mac, you can choose whatever the version. It's straightforward, okay? Just go next, next, next. Follow the steps here that we have. Then after that, hopefully you're gonna have like the SQL is gonna be installed on your computer. Okay? So if you try to run the SQL, we have two different ways in order to access it. Either gonna use pgadmin with the graphical user interface. This is the one I'm gonna store next week. I'm gonna use this one starting next week. But first, I want from you just to spend a few days just to play around using the psql shell, with using the shell in order to access the SQL in general. That's interesting. So I'm gonna show you how to do this one in my machine here. Then after that, once you log in here, psql is going to ask you about many information. For example, what is the name of the server? Where the data is going to be located? In our case, it's going to be located in local machine. If the data that we try to connect here has an IP address, so remotely, you have to specify the exact address. But in our case, just enter. This means you're going to keep the default value, which is the one that between the square brackets. Then after that, the database name, or the name of the database. Okay, I'm gonna use the default one. Then after that, I can choose. Either you can use the university here, but since here the first time we log in the data, I'm not just go over with the default, the value for everything. Okay, then the port, keep the same port, default one. Username, I'm gonna use the Postgres, the default name, and the password. You're gonna see one step here in the during the execution or during the installation of the Postgres is gonna ask you to use the password. Okay, please use the simple password. You can use 1234 only for this class for the practice, but for your application later, your word application, use like sophisticated password. I just use whatever easy password to remember if you want. Then after that, once you log in, it's gonna be give me this, let's say, command line. This allow me now say, okay, the prompt that now is starting doing your commands. And this is a list of commands. You can go over this one just to help you in order to check, for example, play around. You can, once you log into the database, the Postgres, you can say, for example, select the version with the command, give you what the current version that you do download or display in your machine. You can list all the databases stored there. You can do some simple commands. Let's see, try to do over this one, okay? So go over this one. Give me a second. This is after I just execute psql, okay? So the first one gonna be server. I'm gonna do, this is the local value, the local default value, the default value, the default value, and the password 1234, I guess. The simple one. Now I'm the psql, okay? Now we can go over the commands. I'm gonna provide you with the short tutorial of sample examples you can or command you can perform. The first one I'm gonna do what? I want to check the version that downloaded here. So you can use say select version, and this is gonna give you what the version that you download in your machine. Okay? It depends whatever the version that you have. Enter. I'm back to the prompt line. So what else? I wanted to display the list of the current SQL database stored there. So I'm gonna say /L. In your case, maybe it's gonna be empty. In my case, there's a lot of files. Okay. Then after that, let's say I want to create a database. Okay. And let's say I'm going to create database fake one. Let's say create database, and the name of the database is gonna be test2, whatever. Okay. I will say ABC. Okay. I create a database ABC. So if you say /L here, you're gonna say the ABC must be existing. See, now we have an ABC here. I want to connect to the database. In order to connect to the database, use the database. You say, see, you can write /C connect or /C and the name ABC semicolon. When I enter this one, I connect this database, and when I try to enter this one, the system will say, now you're connected to the database here. Okay, good. So once I connect to the database, what I can do here? Now, whatever you're going to perform, you're going to be creating this database. Okay. So I'm going to create a simple table. It's called customer that contains this information. Okay. I'm just doing copy paste here to save time, and it's enter here. Okay, so I said create table, customer, the name of the table, for example, the ID with the first attribute. This is the name, or let's say the data type, comma, the second attribute, data type, the third attribute, data type, and the fourth attribute, data type, and such. And I said the primary key is going to be the ID. Then let me insert or add some data here. When you insert the data, I'm going to insert into the name of that relation. And the name of the relation is called customer. Okay, this is /l plus. Yes, you can do this one. Okay, so insert into customer that I just created, and the value, this is the name, and this is the area. If you wondering who's Sammy, one of the crazy boys that got stuck with them. I'm just kidding, across. We gotta talk about this one later. Just keep in your mind, just give you the number of tables that be affected. Then later we're gonna talk about what you mean the zero, more details. So this is the first one. Let's insert another data, 2 tables, just to make sure that we have enough data to play around. Okay, so this is the second one. So now we have 2 data. Okay, I've sent you email, guys, because I do have 3 classes, so I don't remember the exact one. Please check the email. But it's not this weekend, okay? It's not next week. I guess the week after that, yeah. Not next week. Yeah. So, oh, finally you are here. I thought that I'm talking to myself. Okay. So one thing here, if you said select star from customer, okay? It's gonna give me all the tuples stored there. You see that? Select, and you can say select, for example, I want only the ID. Or maybe you can say I want city first. Then after that, I want the ID. So you can specify all the data you want the data can be displayed here. You see that? I want city first, then the ID. So whatever you want, you can do here. Okay? So let me try something. Remember I said if we define the data as a primary key, and when you try to insert a new tuple, yeah, twice the system will have the same ID, the system gonna reject that. You see that I tried to insert the same tuple that I inserted before. So here, Sammy, for example, has the same ID, and the same ID that we defined as the primary key. When you insert this one, the system is gonna yell at you and say duplicate key and give you some information about what kind of violation you perform here. Or duplicate key value violates unique constraint, which is a customer public key. Because when you create or define a public key for a specific attribute, the system automatically gonna create a database, also index, and use this index in order to figure out or find out if there is any violation or not. Okay? So how about if you try to, let's say, select the first name and the last name from this relation that we have. Okay, so you say select the last name. Okay, what else? I need, remember I said the last name we need to include with the first name. So I can say this one, comma, and last name. Something like this. I know we said the last name first, the last name second. I say, let's say, as name. Okay? And this is what happens. You see, you can perform this one, create a relation, or whatever the attribute is called name, and combine the first name with the last name, and specify how can you combine them. Okay? Select the star is going to give you all the tuples that stored there. Yeah. So as you mentioned, I will maybe upload the first lab tomorrow morning. Yeah, I need to upload the solution of the first homework. And hopefully tomorrow, if I have time, I'm going to finish grading the first homework. So it's going to be, I mean, you can double check your answer and see if they made any mistakes. If everything's great, fine, then you are fine. Okay? Thanks, guys. That's all for today. See you next week.